your skin consists of everywhere in your body, down to your feet, round around between the legs, up around the back, over the shoulders, you know, head, scalp, everything here. It consists of millions of pores, tiny little pores. So this exercise is really about getting you to, everything is about how to relax. Everything at the end of the day is going to be about how to really relax and use your body efficiently. But this is about how to actually feel as though you're breathing through your skin, and it's about really drawing energy into your middle and then releasing it. So we're going to use this because it's nice and simple. We can just breathe in, open the palms through the nose, and breathe out through the nose and just hang the muscle. So we're going to use this because it's a very handy tool for just general breathing. You know, as you breathe in, it's emphasized by the hands doing this. And as you breathe out, air leaves the body and it's as though everything deflates, okay? So we need to start off with this. We need to have the feeling of energy between our hands. So you need to really focus for a little bit now on the bones in the hands and opening and the finger joints opening as if they're getting longer, and on the way back, hanging the muscle rather than closing anything. So for the moment, our emphasis is entirely upon the hands. But we can very quickly move on to actually the feeling of the skin now. So, you know, your skin's like wetsuit or something on you, you know. So as you breathe in through every pore in your body as if every pore is a nose, okay? When you breathe out, just breathe out through every pore in your body. Now bear in mind that your palms are also pores in your body. You can use those as well. But we're not really focusing so much on expanding the joints or bones or whatever, or just allowing everything to undo. We're now focusing on how we get the breath in the body, and we're changing the method by which we do it in the sense that we're feeling it as if it's through every pore in your body. So you really need to go through your entire body. You know, let's start with the crown of the head, for example. Up here, you know, breathe in through the crown of your head. And then just breathe out through the crown of your head. Try your forehead. Breathe in through the forehead. Breathe out through the forehead. Okay? When you breathe in, this time it's through the ears. I'm not talking about where you hear from. I'm talking about the skin, both in and out of the ear. And then breathe out through them. Now think about the soles of your feet next time. And breathe out through the soles of your feet. Now your lower back, where your lumbars are, just above your pelvis. Now in the area around your tummy button. Now your shoulders, just at the top here. Breathe in through that part. And breathe out through that part. And now include several of those features all in one go. Now it's almost easier just to bring the whole skin into play here. Don't forget your chest and your back. A big area of skin there. Your neck. and make sure that you do not tighten anything. Because if you do, keep going. I'm going to stop, but you keep going. Because if you tense anywhere, it's the equivalent of pinching your nose when you're trying to breathe in. Because muscles contract. So therefore, you don't want anything tight anywhere in your body at all. Remember to breathe in through the pores and out through the pores. Good. Yeah. And back down your sides. So pore breathing is quite interesting because basically you take in your environment. It's about breathing in your environment. So, for example, you would not want to do this in a room where there's an argument going on. Just an example, it's quite an extreme one, I agree. But where there's antagonism going on around you, you don't really want to do this. You go out into nature or whatever, and you go into out on a field, or you're in just anywhere in nature, in a wood or something, and you do this, and you breathe in, and you are in effect borrowing the environment and using it within yourself, and almost like becoming one with it, to be a bit sort of 1960s. You are this is in effect what you're doing. So you and the environment become as one. So it's quite a useful tool, and we actually do it all the time without realizing it. We do it all the time, except we do it in a possibly in a slightly negative way. So, for example, when you walk down the street, imagine you're walking home at night. It's dark, and there are only street lights every 50 yards. In a sense, you open up all your senses to what's around you, just in case, if you know what I'm talking about, just in case there is a problem and you need to make a dash for it. And we use our periphery sensory ability quite a lot more than we realize, but often in a negative way. And I'm saying here, develop it in a positive way, so that you actually borrow the energy that's around you. Because, my God, the whole thing is made of energy. Everything you look at, even your computer, is made of energy. It's there. And it can be very positive, especially if you can bring it in. When you do the walking in the dark, in the 50-yard streetlight thing, you're using it, but it's potentially in a rather compressing way. So you're sensing like crazy, but your body's quite sort of like this, just in case. So it's an ability we all have, but it's actually worth developing in a positive way rather than in a defensive way. So this one is an example of using one side of the duality. If we're talking about pluses and minuses again here, the yin and the yang, this is using to feel the energy around us, whereas this is a more yin way. It's more contracted and it's more defensive, what we might call wei qi, W-E-I. There are lots of different types of qi, and wei qi is your defensive energy. So what we're doing is we're trying to bring a different sort of energy into our bodies. So when you're here, we just do it a couple more times, and you breathe in, and then you breathe out. So I don't know what environment you are in at the moment, but I'm assuming maybe you're in a sitting room or a study or something like that. I'm in the conservatory. I've got the garden out there. I've got a lot of plants in here. And then I breathe out through the pores. When I breathe in, I'm sensing the plants around me. It's as if I'm doing that. And then I breathe out, and I give them something back maybe, but it's not an intentional thing.